The royal family situation just got really, really messy. Now, we all know that Jeffrey Epstein has been a hot topic as of late, especially after Donald Trump has been under immense pressure to release the Epstein files, but for some reason is incredibly reluctant to. A lot of people seem to know why, but no one seems to want to actually admit it or point the finger. Now, also there was immense pressure from Kash Patel, who came out recently. He's, of course, the acting figurehead of the FBI, who released the videotapes from Epstein's cell, which was supposed to categorically prove that Epstein did in fact take his own life. But when you watch the footage, Epstein's cell's never even in shot, and there's a minute of the video footage missing, which they tried to cover up. Pam Bondi was put under the cosh, Donald Trump tried to hush everything up, and continues to try to. But closer to home for me, in the United Kingdom, of course, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, as over in the royal family, Prince Andrew, of course, has now been stripped of all of his royal titles by his own brother, King Charles III, which, of course, is a very, very drastic move, considering when the Queen was alive, Queen Elizabeth II, it was all just kind of left to lie low. Very interesting stuff. Now, of course, there's been developments on this. So a couple of weeks ago, it was said that Prince Andrew would hand over his titles. But now it seems that someone's hand's been forced and everything has been taken from him, leading to a lot of speculation about, first of all, what do the royal family know? Second of all, why is this happening now? And thirdly, where does it leave us? Well, let's get into it. So, let's kind of go over the scandals, okay? So, Prince Andrew is, of course, the younger brother to King Charles III and son of the late Queen Elizabeth II, and has faced intense scrutiny over the past few years with his association with the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Key allegations came from Virginia Giuffre, who died by taken her own life earlier in 2025, sadly, who claimed in a 2022 civil lawsuit that she was trafficked as a minor to have sex with Andrew on multiple occasions between the years 2000 and 2001. Andrew has consistently denied these allegations, and the lawsuit was settled out of court in 2022 for an undisclosed sum, reportedly in the millions, without any admission of wrongdoing. And the scandal escalated after Andrew's disastrous 2019 BBC interview. Remember the one where he allegedly claimed that he's not able to sweat and he was in Pizza Express? Like, nah. Anyway, and the lawsuit, of course, obviously there was the disastrous 2019 BBC interview, and he defended his friendship with Epstein, leading him to step back from the public royal duties that year, and he also lost his military affiliations, charitable patronages, and also his use of his Royal Highness style in early 2022. Now, I don't know about you guys, but to me, when someone basically, hands over an out-of-court settlement fee, that's usually in a bit of an admission that something's gone on. Otherwise, why would you just so happily hand out millions of pounds if you've done nothing wrong? Just goes to show. But anyway, obviously, we've seen some significant changes. So, as of October 30th, 2025, Buckingham Palace actually announced that King Charles III had initiated a formal process to strip Prince Andrew of all remaining royal titles and honours. And we will go over the statement made by Buckingham Palace, because there's some very interesting things in there that hasn't actually been indicated to before by the royal family, at least. Now, this marks an unprecedented escalation, as it is the first time in over a century that a British royal has been formally deprived of their princely title by birthright. And the last comparable case was under the 1970 Title Deprivation Act, targeting German-aligned royals during World War I. So, what was officially removed from the Duke of York? Well, the style of and title of Prince has been taken. Duke of York, which he had already announced that he would stop using voluntarily on October 17th, 2025. Earl of Inverness, and Baron of Kiley. Remaining honours, including the Knight Grand Cross and the Royal Victorian Order, and the Royal Knight Companion of the Most Noble Order on the Garter. And his new status, Andrew will now be known simply as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, using the family surname established in 1960 for non-title descendants of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip. He retained his position as the 8th in line for the throne, as removing some from the succession would require the Act of Parliament, a step the UK government has stated there are no plans to take. Now, the decision was made by King Charles himself, with the reported support of the family members, including Prince William, the Prince of Wales, who of course will be next in line for the throne. Andrew did not object to the process, according to the palace sources. The palace statement emphasised sympathy for the victims of abuse, stating Their Majesties wish to make it clear that their thoughts and utmost sympathies have been and will remain with the victims and survivors of any and all forms of abuse. That right there is a very powerful and very telling statement for someone who has allegedly done nothing wrong. Let's take a little look at the statement that was released by the palace here. So this is what was released. It was very blunt on October 30th, which was Thursday. A statement from Buckingham Palace. His Majesty has today initiated a formal process to remove the style, titles and honours of Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew will no longer now be known as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. His lease on the Royal Lodge has to date provided him with legal protection to continue in residence. Formal notice has now been served to surrender the lease, and he will move to alternate private accommodation. These censors are deemed necessary, notwithstanding the fact that he continues to deny the allegations against him. Their Majesties wish to make clear that their thoughts and utmost sympathies have been and will remain with the victims of the survivors of any forms of abuse. Ends. So, obviously, this is very telling. Let's kind of break this down. Obviously, we all know he's been stripped of his titles, whatever, but these court censors are deemed necessary, notwithstanding the fact that he continues to deny the allegations against him. Essentially, what they're saying here is, yeah, he's saying that nothing's gone on, but we find it necessary to strip him of everything that he's got. And then also, their Majesties, not just His Majesty, which would have been in reference to King Charles, their Majesties, meaning the entire family, right, or at least everyone with the Majesty title, wish to make it clear that their thoughts and utmost sympathies have been and will remain with the victims and survivors of any and all forms of abuse. Though, let's not forget, the palace have remained so far that Andrew's done nothing wrong. But now they're saying that, and also their thoughts and feelings and sympathies have always been with the victims of and survivors of any form of abuse. Any form of abuse. Though Prince Andrew, of course, was never involved in any of this, yet why would they make this section here? Why would they include that if he's done nothing wrong? Now, as you can imagine, TikTok has gone ablaze with this. This was probably one of the best kind of breakdown videos that I could find of this, where they kind of share their thoughts and opinions. Take a little listen to this.
Prince Andrew is to be, hopefully, presumably, stripped of his style, titles, and honors. Statement from Buckingham Palace coming today. Interesting, not a Friday news dump item. They want us to be talking about this. This tells us Prince Andrew will now be known as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. They also answer the question on everyone's lips in the past few weeks. I'm not going to go through all the stories because there has been so much yo-yoing. Meredith Constant has a great up-to-the-minute running commentary over on her page. But we also learn that his lease on Royal Lodge is in jeopardy. Formal notice has been served to surrender the lease, and he will move to alternate private accommodation. This is much more legalese worded than the previous statement out of the palace, which was, of course, on behalf of Prince Andrew. This is why it is never a good idea to issue a half-baked update like this. If things are still unfolding, don't do this. I said this was if here, damn, was a statement, because it's very much like, I've decided to do this, fine, here you go. I also vigorously deny the accusations against me. First person from Andrew. This, aside from being written in the third person, referencing Andrew and His Majesty, King Charles, is also very clearly filtered through lawyers so as not to jeopardize any of these processes, which are very much still in process. I'm building the plane as I fly it here, okay? We have initiated the process. It hasn't happened yet. but we are going to refer to him this way in the meantime. We have served him with the notice to surrender his lease, even though it has provided him with legal protection up until now. I think that cop-out is interesting. The reason he hasn't left yet is because of his legal protection to continue in residence as written out in his lease. Then we get to the cushioning. The censures are deemed necessary, notwithstanding the fact that he continues to deny the allegations against him. This is more firm in terms of wording than, again, what we saw in the statement 2 weeks ago, where Andrew was able to say, the accusations distract from the work of His Majesty. That's why we're doing this. Even though he, again, vigorously denied the accusations against him, this was much more, well, it's because you guys won't stop talking about it. And there was absolutely no mention of the victims or their families who have been affected by Andrew's actions, not by the fact that the rumors exist, by what he allegedly did. Now we get their majesties, interesting, Charles and Camilla. I wonder if we're banking on Camilla's work with domestic violence survivors here to further cushion this. Their majesties wish to make clear that their thoughts and utmost sympathies have been and will remain with the victims and survivors of any and all forms of abuse. Okay, well, again, they can't say outright, we're sorry Prince Andrew did crimes, because he hasn't been charged with any crimes yet. Can't apologize for something on the record that he's never admitted to or been charged with doing. But this, as far as it goes for the palace, is an apology, an admission of guilt. It's kind of giving slavery was abhorrent and should never have happened, right?
Yeah.
But who did that? Who started that institution? The institution that you still profit from. I'm not saying it should be what we settle for, but this is as far as they usually go. I will be more interested to see, I'm sure there are lots of questions hitting the royal press representatives' inboxes about, first of all, the process being used to remove Andrew's style, titles, and honors. There has been a motion basically being read in Parliament. It has not been voted on yet. It kind of was revived from the past. That would give the monarch the ability to play with titles and remove them from people. But again, His Majesty has initiated suggests to me that we're doing this in a different way. Same thing with the Royal Lodge. It will be so nice to get clarity from the palace. They were so quick to tell us what was going on with Frogmore when we were kicking Harry and Meghan out. But the Royal Lodge thing has been up in the air for many years now. These censures are deemed necessary, notwithstanding the fact that Andrew continues to deny the allegations against him. In a way, that is still saying, this is distracting, please stop talking about it here, damn. But this is the step that a lot of people wanted to see happen. What are your thoughts?
I think it's an absolute calamity and an absolute mess, and this should have happened back in 2019 when the allegations came about, but here we are, 6 years later, still talking about it, with the victim now deceased. Where's the justice? What do you guys think about all of this? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. While you're down there, jump to get the hell out of that like button and subscribe, and until next time, I'll speak to you later. Peace.